Okay, today I wanted to talk about Helldivers and how I really don't think it's that good. And I think it's very concerning that everyone is like, oh, this game is so great. This sticks it to AAA. I have someone with me.
Hello.
Yeah, I have someone with me here. So we're gonna talk about it. And you're gonna sit there and you're gonna fucking enjoy it.
Yeah.
So the first thing that I want to say is that this game is very hypocritical and treated unfairly. If this game did, if another studio did half the things this game did, they would get criticized for it. Like, think about all the game-breaking bugs, the crashes, the poor performance, the poor optimization. Fucking Dragon's Dogma 2 just came out, and it has it runs like shit.
And people are ripping into it.
Yeah, mostly negative on Steam. But, like, this game runs like shit. Nobody fucking mentions it. They refuse to add things like DLSS, anything that could help the performance. You can't even change the resolution in the game. You know, it's like, okay. And then something that I feel really is worth mentioning is how, 100 gigs. You guys give Call of Duty shit for being way oversized, and like taking up all the space on your hard drive. But like, how the fuck do you explain this, what I'm flashing on the screen right now? This game takes 100 fucking gigabytes to download. This game, Elden Ring, takes 40. Why does this game have like 3 times the size of Elden Ring to download, but it has like 1/5 the content? Like,
Not even.
Could you imagine if EA released a game where you could play everything the game has to offer in like 5 or 6 hours? And that was 100 gigabytes, people would go fucking nuts. They would you'd never hear the end of it.
Oh, yeah, there'd be riots in the streets. They'd be stringing people up.
But like, this game does it, and because it's the indie darling, it's allowed to do that. Speaking of, you mentioned this game was published by Sony. Like, this game is not really indie. I don't even really know if it's fully AA. Like, they had like $15 million-ish or something like that. Like, games of this size generally get into like the 8+ figure range. So like, I'm just thinking a game like fucking, a game like Oblivion was made with, with what? Like, I don't know off the top. I don't know off the top of my head, but I'm just saying, like, games from the 7th generation of consoles were made with half the budget of this, yet they ended up with like 3 times as much content. It's weird. It's just like, anyway.
So I'm not quite sure. Like, I'm looking some stuff up about their budget, and I'm really
it's not publicly disclosed, but they were pushed by Sony to be a big exclusive PlayStation game. And Sony, from that leak where we got to see what their in-party exclusive cost, like God of War, these guys are not afraid to put $600 million into a fucking hold forward and listen to dialogue story game. They do not cheap out. But anyway.
No, and even if, like, they didn't have Sony money when they were... This game has sold so many copies. This game has made such a ridiculous amount of money. And if Sony was, for whatever reason, being shy about their money now, once they have seen how Helldivers has been doing, I guarantee you that they are shoveling money into Arrowhead. Absolutely shoveling money. I'm sure they're hiring shitloads of people. I mean, it's really... I don't think it's an excuse. I really don't think so, because I think that they had more money than people think they did.
A prime example of how the game really isn't well made, things like the physics. Like, you kill a shrieker in the sky, it falls on you, it instantly kills you. Or a charger. A charger is just walking next to you, not even trying to attack you. It like turns to the left and you go fucking just flying and instantly die. Or like how you crash with arc weapons, just the crashes in general. Like, nothing in this game fucking feels like it works. Like, I can't tell if the 500 kg bomb is supposed to have like 5 meters of range. Because like sometimes you'll hit a Bile Titan with it from like what seems like completely point blank. It's standing on it. It doesn't die. Sometimes you hit a full health Bile Titan from like what feels like a yard away and it just instantly falls over. Like, remember how broken railguns were? You know, killing Bile Titans in 2 shots, but they were actually supposed to be killing them in like 20. Like, this game just has flat out amateur coding mistakes where it's like, oh, we accidentally added 10 times the value to this one thing. Whoops. Like, how does something like that even happen? It's like, did you not have like 5 people go through and check this before launching it? And I know some fucking smartass in the comments is going to be like, oh, well, no, actually, you know, dev studios are overworked, blah, 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 blah. So it's like, okay, but if it's supposed to be a small indie game, those teams don't have those problems. You know, so you don't really get that luxury here.
And also, just before we really get into the meat of our problems with the game, I do want to bring up the anti-cheat ads. It's really, really, really bad. And I've seen a lot of people say that they're afraid of downloading the anti-cheat because for whatever reason, this game felt it necessary to have a kernel-level anti-cheat. Don't know why. It doesn't fucking need it. Yeah, it doesn't work anyway.
I've got something to say about that. Hold on. Helldivers 2 cheat table. The anti-cheat doesn't work at all. Like, right here. This game, like, within a week, had working multiplayer cheats ready to go. Like, so, yeah, they added the full kernel-level anti-cheat, and it was cracked literally within, like, fucking, like, 72 hours of the game coming out. So you have an anti-cheat that's like and that, well, I mean, that's the other thing. Valorant's anti-cheat is the best anti-cheat in the world.
So much shit.
They got so much shit for it, yet it's literally the best anti-cheat in the world. Cheaters on like We Cheat, on Fearless, the cheat engine place, they all tell you you need to get rid of Valorant and you need to delete that file from your program files like 86 folder before you use cheats or it will ban you. Even like, and it's like, damn, this anti-cheat is so good.
It bans you from other games.
Yeah, and it's like, okay. Meanwhile, Helldivers has the same like intrusive level of anti-cheat, yet basic fucking cheat engine can crack it like that fast. So, you know, like that's kind of embarrassing.
So it's definitely double standards, and I think that's kind of part of this video is that this game shouldn't be immune to criticism.
It's the double standard.
It does a lot of shit that AAA games do. And they do it pretty bad, and yet no one says anything. Like, Game Guard as an anti-cheat, it fucking sucks, and it's intrusive. But as soon as it was even hinted at in Valorant, there might be a kernel-level anti-cheat. The fucking world was on fire.
Yeah, you'd fucking game journalist articles for weeks on weeks about how terrible this is, blah, 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 how crazy this is. It was like a genuine news cycle, like all the YouTubers were talking about it. Now this game does it, and you're not allowed to say anything. You're not allowed to criticize. You have to like it.
And I feel like even in Valorant, it's better, because at least, first off, it works.
Yeah, it works.
Really, really well. And second of all, it's a competitive shooter game with a active esports scene. Competitive integrity is at the heart of that game, right? That's one of the biggest problems with CSGO is the cheating, right? Like, cheating is a big problem. Why does this game need that? Why does this game need...
Yeah, like, who cares if you cheat in this game in the first place, by the way? Like, seriously, who fucking cares if you hack yourself in all the samples? Which is something I want to talk about, how terrible samples are. But it's like, who cares? Genuinely, who cares if you skip the progression in a game like this? Who cares if you load in and instantly kill everything? Like, especially with host kick, if someone loads in with cheats and you don't like that, you can just kick them. You know?
And I think... The whole reason that people even want to do this is because the progression in this game, and this is what we're getting into, the progression and pretty much every system in this game is underbaked and shallow, painfully repetitive and shallow.
Yeah, no, seriously. We'll talk about the progression first then. This game has some of the worst fucking progression I've ever seen in a video game, like, ever. Common samples being the roadblock is ridiculous. The fact that the rarities effectively work in reverse order, where if you aren't complete garbage at the game and you're always playing a Helldive difficulty, you will basically never need for super samples or rare samples. You will always be like at the cap for them. But common samples... Oh my god, common samples. Like, I've been playing the game for like 30 hours now. I only have enough common samples for one full tier of upgrades and then another upgrade. So I've only gotten like like 300 common samples. I'm getting like 100 common samples an hour because it is something that you have to sit down and say, I am going to focus on this if you want to get those common samples up. And then like the upgrades.
It's not a fun gameplay loop.
Yeah. And then it's like, what are you even getting these samples for? Okay. The Eagle upgrades are good. I'm not going to try to deny that. Half rearm time and extra strike. That's really good. But then look at everything else. Your turrets have 10% less cooldown. Your orbital strikes have 10% less cooldown. You know, like, this is another thing I find funny. You know how one of the biggest complaints in, like, Diablo 4 was that gear was, like...
flat stats.
Yeah. In every game that has RPG light progression, one of the biggest complaints people have is fucking how the progression is like, oh, well, it's not real. You're not changing the game in any way. It's just minor stat boosts. Guys, everything in Helldivers is just minor stat boosts at best. And it's like, you don't hear anyone complain about that. And it's like, why is it okay here? Someone with max upgrades, assuming they aren't using Eagle Strike specifically, might as well be like an unupgraded person, you know, because they just don't make that much of a difference at all.
It's a very minor difference. And for the amount of effort and grind you need to put in, and not fun grind, you need to literally just walk around and pick up... It's not fun.
Yeah, you have to avoid the objectives to find the upgrade materials. You have to go out of your way to avoid objectives, walk around the empty map into these empty points of interest that have like 3 bugs at best, one of which can spawn a bug breach. So if you just kill that before it happens, then it's like, there you go. You don't have to fight anything. And it's like, okay, so you kill 3 guys with an airstrike, pick up 2 common samples per location, and it's like, there you go. There's your gameplay loop for the next 100 hours until you max everything out. Like, it sucks. It's terrible. It is more grindy than Destiny. Genuinely. Like grinding Nightfalls in Destiny is less painful than grinding samples in fucking Helldivers.
I feel like the reason that they have all of this fluff is because they made the base game and they're like, there is just nothing to this at all.
Yeah.
They're like, oh shit, we need to put something else for people to do, but they're like, I don't know what to do. Well, how about there's things off the beaten path, you know? All the cool open world games do it. Elden Ring did it. Why don't we just add like little goodies around? But incorporating that directly, like, it should be a natural thing. Like, it should be, you walk around and you naturally find samples, and that's how it should be. That's how Elden Ring does it. You never really, at least I never explicitly went out of my way. I just found shit and I did it, right? But the conscious effort to use it for progression and just going out of your way is just so unfun, especially on higher difficulties. You can't do that. So you could either run around with 10 fucking Bile Titans on your ass, or you could play like a difficulty 3 mission and just run around.
Yeah, you get the same rewards. You get the same rewards on like level 3 as you do. If you know what they really should do? You know how it like comes up with like Helldive plus 250% for like your XP and stuff? It should do the same thing for samples. It should be like, oh, you picked up 10 samples on Helldive. Okay, it turns into like 30 samples now. And it's like, there you go. That way it's actually rewarding to play the higher difficulty. But the problem is they can't do that because then you would blaze through the progression system. And it's like, you know, this game's a live service with nothing to do. And that's the other thing we want to talk about is how shallow this fucking game is. Every fucking match plays out the exact goddamn same. You spawn in near the objective. Call in your bonus weapon, your backpack item. You call that stuff in. Then, you know, assuming you aren't playing with retards, 2 people run off to one objective, 2 people run off to another objective. You call in an airstrike or something on the objective, and, you know, there you go. Then every objective is exactly the fucking same. You either interact with terminal, input code into terminal, walk away from terminal to do a side thing, go back to terminal, walk to the main objective. Or it's like blow up a bug hole or bot facility. You know, it's like that is literally every mission. Every mission plays out the exact same. Walk to objective, play with terminal for 2 minutes, then walk to the next objective and like click one button to like grab an SSD and then walk to the main objective. Everything plays out exactly the same. From the moment you spawn in one mission to the next mission, everything plays out the same. And like, the combat is not solid enough to back this up, because it's like every objective has like 3 or more enemies that can spawn either bot buses or like bug breaches. So if you kill them early before they can do that, then you don't have to fight anything at these objectives. It's literally like the group that we normally the group we normally play with. We've reached the point where, you know, we all have EATs. We walk in, instantly kill the brood commanders, and like there you go. You don't have to fight anything. So you just sit there for like a minute and a half while you just wait for a terminal to fill, and it's like there you go. Maybe a wandering Bile-Titan shows up. You know?
Yeah. Clearly, the objectives are not fun enough in and of itself to stand on their own, right? Like, they need the combat to keep it interesting, but is the combat enough? And no, it's not, because there's zero variety, especially if you actually want to play anything that's above, like, difficulty, I don't know, 7 or...
Yeah, 7 is when the negative modifiers start happening, and like that's when it turns into skull. And I think that's part of the problem. The first modifier you get at difficulty 7 is extra armor. This singular fucking like bonus difficulty thing that is on all difficulty 7 and up changes so much about how you play the game. Something that is decently viable, like the railgun, for example, at like 7, I'm pretty sure on difficulty 7, the railgun takes like half as many shots to kill a Bile-Titan as 9. Or I'm sorry, on 6 to like 7, because of that extra armor. And it's like, okay, well, this doesn't really feel viable anymore, that I have to spend like an entire minute just shooting this one enemy to kill it.
This brings us back to, like, all of these issues that we're talking about are incredibly common complaints with other games. Like, for example, like in an ARPG, like let's take Diablo, for example. A very common thing is that people say that you're not really going anywhere, that enemies' health is going up and your damage is going up, but you're really not going anywhere, right? That is a common complaint where it's like, you're really not going anywhere. It's just things are artificially getting harder. It's not actually getting harder. Mechanics aren't getting difficult. You're not getting challenged skill-wise. It's just the enemies are getting more health.
Yeah, it's just bigger blocks of stats.
But the thing is that that's all the difficulty in this game is. It's just, okay, my call-ins take 2 billion% longer. Okay, the enemies just have more armor. Okay, it's like Bile-Titans aren't hard because it takes mechanical skill to take them down in coordination. They're hard because there's just a fuck ton of them, and they just eat a fuck ton of damage and bullets.
Yeah, let's say you want to use an orbital to deal with Bile-Titans. Let's say you give up 3 stratagem slots. Use an orbital laser, a rail cannon strike, and something else. Okay, you call down the orbital laser. It has enough damage to maybe kill a single Bile-Titan. Maybe. Sometimes it won't even kill it all the way, depending on latency, that kind of shit. So let's be generous and say you kill 1 Bile-Titan. Oh, how long is the cooldown? 4 minutes. And if you have one of the shitty modifiers, like the one that doubles the call-in time on this stuff, it's 8 minutes. Or I'm sorry, the cooldown. 8 minutes. You maybe can kill 1 Bile-Titan 8 minutes with that stratagem. Okay, what about the railgun strike? Okay, well, it has like a 3-minute cooldown, 6 minutes with the modifier. And it's like, okay, so if you bring both of these to deal with the Bile-Titans, you can kill 2 Bile-Titans like every like 7 minutes. And it's like, okay, in 4-person lobbies, you know, assuming people aren't on top of killing bug breaches and stopping them from happening, you might get 4 bug breaches, and you might get a bunch of brood commanders. Like, you'll walk to the objective. Brood commander spawns in a bug breach, and that bug breach spawns 2 Bile-Titans. Then a wandering patrol comes in. They spawn another bug breach. That spawns another 2 Bile-Titans. All right, that is a very common scenario that happens all the time. And it's like, okay, you now have 4 of these Bile-Titans. Every single person has to spend every stratagem and get them all on cooldown. And like, yeah, you might say skill issue to that, but it's like, what fucking skill, dude? You either have the stuff off cooldown to instantly kill the Bile-Titan, or you just don't, and you have no way to deal with it.
Yeah, it's not hard to just throw a fucking railgun or an orbital laser on a Bile-Titan. There's no skill involved. There's no skill involved in taking these things down. It's just purely the game just throws artificial difficulty at you, like with the modifiers and just with the health pools. Like, there's no actually genuinely hard mechanics. Like, there's nothing that really makes you think in this game ever, right? Like, there's no actual mechanics to anything. It's all 100% artificial difficulty. It's just the numbers go higher. Okay, the cooldowns are longer. That's all just flat numbers. And Diablo and other RPGs in general, the game will get shit on for that. Because it's not fun, it's not interesting, it's not engaging, right? Like, no one likes, it's just, 10% more damage, minus 10% cooldown reduction.
Yeah.
Those aren't fun stats. And yet this game that is all of it. That is the entire game.
A Bile Titan is exactly the same on difficulty 1 as difficulty 9. It functions the same, it behaves the same, it does the same things for the same reasons. The only difference is, like a difficulty 1 Bile Titan for, in theory, would die to like 1, maybe 2 EATs consistently every time no matter what. Whereas on Helldive, it takes like 4. And it's like that's the only thing. Now, the reason why that becomes such a problem is one person could realistically handle a Bile Titan that takes 2 EATs to kill consistently. And I mentioned consistently because I know, like, supposedly you can headshot them and kill them with 2. Bro, if you can show me on stream someone doing that in a real game 10 times in a row, I'll PayPal you like $20 because I've never seen it. I've never heard of it. I've tried it. It does not, it just does not work. It is more consistent to just shoot 4 shots into their side and just kill them that way, and it's like, okay, so now you need 2 people to spend a stratagem to deal with it. And it's like, okay. Oh, and by the way, the EAT, that's like the best way to deal with these. Like the EAT is really dominant.
Do you want to try and like go into meta here then?
Okay, yeah, we can talk about the balance because like this game has worse balance than Darktide. This game has atrocious fucking balance. This game has so many options and
they all fucking blow.
Yeah.
They're all, not only are they all bad, but they're so bad that you really can't justify using anything else but the stuff that's usable.
Yeah. Like, hold on, let me pull up Helldivers 2 stratagems. Oh, one thing I want to mention about the progression, by the way, is how fucking retarded getting new weapons and stuff is. The medals suck. The medals are a super grind. Maxing out every battle pass literally takes like 200 hours of constantly playing Helldive, constantly winning. Like, it is just a mindless grind. And it's like, you're not even, most of the time you're unlocking downgrades to the fucking Liberator. Like, there's a lot of weapons that are just straight up worse than what you start with. And it's like, oh, I just spent 100 hours upgrading the battle pass. And the other thing I want to mention, this system's not sustainable. What is it going to be like a year from now when they add 3 more battle passes that each require 2,000 metal investments to max out? Like, yeah, that's good for your seasonal players who will play for 100 hours every time you add a new one. But like, what, like right now, arguably the best weapon in the entire game is the Scorcher. It's the explosive plasma rifle primary. It is, yeah, it is crazy. That weapon is borderline as strong as some of the call-in like supply weapons. Like, genuinely, it is on par with shit like the stalwart machine gun. And it's like, okay, that is the final unlock in the main battle pass. So the next battle pass that's like a 2,000 metal investment, what happens with that has like the meta sidearm that's like as good as a call-in weapon. Okay, so now you've got to max out 2 battle passes to like have a decent loadout, and it's like, it's like that's like 400 hours of investment right there.
And I think the reason why these things aren't getting pointed out enough is because these problems become painfully apparent at the higher difficulties. Because on difficulty 1, you could literally fucking run around with your dick in your hand. You could literally run anything, and you'll probably still be fine. And that leads people to think that it doesn't matter or balance is fine when it's not, especially if you're playing in a group, right? Because you might think, oh, well, I cleared X difficulty with X weapon that people think is bad. But in actuality, you get to the end screen and the player who's actually running the good stuff did the work of your entire team combined, right?
So like, This is what I'm talking about with the stratagems. And here, I'll share my screen so you can see this.
Okay.
But this is what I mean about the balance. Guard dog, rover.
Yeah, exactly.
What the fuck? The guard dog, literally, the guard dog is so much worse than the rover. They are both a drone. They take up the same slot, your backpack slot. They are both an autonomous drone that behaves and does this. They are literal carbon copy clones. One has ammo, has to go into the, reload, has to get resupplied. Whereas one is just an infinite laser that just sits there forever. It just sits there forever. You put it on your back, it activates, and for the entire rest of the mission, assuming you don't die, you just have an NPC next to you that can clear trash mobs for you fairly decently. Whereas the other one constantly has to reload, constantly has to go into your backpack to like refresh itself. Like, this is objectively just worse than this. You unlock them at like the same level.
Yeah.
So
it's not even like you could say, oh, well, this is, I just have more fun with this, or I like this more. But these two things occupy the same exact niche. They do the same exact thing, except one thing is better than the other. That's one of the biggest issues with the balance, is that there's so many things that fill the exact same niche. They do the exact same thing. And whenever that's the case, one thing is always going to end up being better than the other, right?
Prime example, machine gun sentry versus Gatling sentry.
Yep.
Why? The Gatling sentry literally just fires 3 times as fast as a machine gun sentry. They do like the same damage. They have the same targeting. They get hard countered by armor. They both bounce off. Like, these are literally the same item. One is just objectively better in every way.
Yeah.
But it's like
it's definitely like people will point at you and be like metaslave, but it's not. There's literally no reason. Like, why would you pick a machine gun sentry over Gatling sentry? It's purely just because you want to play with something worse. Like, people who say people are metaslaves, they're criticizing people who play things that are good even if they don't actually like playing as them, right? They don't enjoy the gameplay, but they do it because it's good. And people who say that are saying that you should just play what you think is fun instead of what is good. But there is none of that in this game. Everything that is this, like, the meta things are just the exact same thing as something else, but just better in every way. Like, the meta in this game is criminally stale.
Yeah.
Because they've boxed themselves into this box of, they have so many things that do the exact same thing. There's no variety, really. Like, it looks like, oh, wow, look at all this stuff that you could do. But in actuality, there's so many small little boxes. And everything goes into them, right? And they all do the exact same thing. Except one has better stats than the other. Right?
Yeah, this is also...
This
is also a balance issue. Because this game is too well balanced. Yes, there is such a thing. EAT versus anti-material rifle. Or not anti... EAT versus recoilless rifle. They both shoot the same round. They both do the same damage. The difference is one has like 5 ammo and can be reloaded. One is disposable. Despite that, the disposable EAT is just better because it has 60-second cooldown and you get 2 of them. And you only really need 2 shots for most things. So, like, if all 4 people run them, you can, like, just out-spam the heavy enemies. Which means the recoilless rifle's reload is just an objective downside for no gain. And it's like, they both shoot the same ammunition. They both do the same thing. So it's like, how do you make these 2 weapons different? One of these has to be better than the other while filling the same role. Devs have taken
bad balance.
The devs have taken the route of it's better if things are too weak than too strong with the constant nerfing of everything. Because it's like, nothing in this game feels good to use other than like the arc thrower. The arc thrower feels pretty good to use. And it's like everything else just kind of feels like shit.
Like look at the fucking smoke strike, dude.
Yeah.
Who the fuck is using a smoke strike? Like, some of this is just pure fluff. I don't care if you're like the biggest anti-meta guy ever. You are never putting on an Eagle smoke strike ever. It's just nothing. It literally does nothing for anyone ever. There's so much redundancy in this entire thing that really, even if it looks like a lot, there's really only a
Yeah,
handful of things.
not even a handful. No, look at this. Look at this. The two guard dogs, terrible. They're bad. Some people will use the rover. They're fucking idiots. The guard dogs suck. Because of the nature of a laser weapon, this thing works at best on the littlest, shittiest pissant enemies that you one tap with a machine gun. The jump pack, awful. See, this is a prime example. People love this thing. It's a lot of fun to jump around and move quickly, but like,
Yeah.
it doesn't do anything. Why would I move quickly when I could have a shield that basically triples my health bar? Supply pack. This sucks because primaries suck. The only primary that's really good is like the Scorcher and arguably like 2 of the shotguns. But like other than that, your primary isn't even worth fucking using 90% of the time, let alone giving up your backpack slot to supply you more ammo for. You know, like this game is 90% just using support weapons. And then you got the shield generator. The shield generator lets you have the max movement speed of light armor, which is the only survivable stat that does anything, while also having like the same health that you would have with heavy armor. Bro, you could run the shield generator and heavy armor with extra padding and be able to take like 10 hits. You know, like compare that to the rover. You have an infinite source of killing the smallest trash mobs. Or the regular guard dog. You have a good source of killing trash mobs that runs out of ammo really fast. You know, it's like, do I want to double, sometimes triple my health that can be refilled and recharged constantly? Oh, and it also stops you from getting slowed? Or do I want a sometimes usable quick burst of sprint? And it's like, this is a non-option. And then the ballistic shield.
Yeah.
Like come on.
Right shield.
Yeah. I'm like, this is one of the only things on here that doesn't even have a fucking clickable link. This is the only like droppable weapon that doesn't have a clickable link. It's that fucking bad. Even the people making hold on. The people making the wiki cannot even be bothered to list the stats for this thing. It's that bad.
Yeah, so I think if you were to individually X one of these things, like all these things out one by one by one by one, you would kind of see how little there really is.
Yeah,
and
no. You know what? That's a great idea. The guard dogs suck. Jump pack sucks. The supply pack, if primaries and shit were good, this would be good. But until then, it sucks. The ballistic shield, unusable. If you want to use
one thing in backpack.
If you want to use a backpack, you have one good viable option. One, you could probably get away with this if you really want to option. And one potentially good option in the future. Okay, what about support weapons? The autocannon...
support weapons probably have the most variety, which is sad to say.
The autocannon, great against robots. It's great against robots. It's not good against bugs because it bounces off of all the armored bugs. So terrible versus bugs, great against armor. Or great against bots. The EAT, great against bots, and the only viable option versus bugs. Okay, the flamethrower, really good in solo, not so good in group play. It's great at killing chargers, it does nothing versus Bile Titans, and it's okay at killing trash mobs. But if they're getting that close to you, if it's like a hunter, they'll just pounce on you and kill you. So it's, you know.
Yep.
Laser cannon, unusable,
awful.
trash. Stalwart,
Awful.
Unusable, trash. MG, trash.
Awful.
Arc thrower, best weapon in the game. Grenade launcher, good against good against bio throwers and clearing out trash mobs. But when you consider that the arc thrower does the same thing, just better, unusable garbage. The anti-material,
also considering the ammo and stuff like that.
Yeah, right. This thing has low as fuck ammo. The anti-material rifle is getting glazed like a motherfucker right now because people are recognizing that you can one-shot like Hulks to the weak point. But like, so can this. The anti-material rifle is like, wait until, give it a month or two, people will change over to the autocannon and be like, oh, this is just this, but better. Because it is. The railgun got nerfed into literal unusability. The recoilless rifle is just worse than the EAT. Nobody uses the spear. Spear might be the worst thing on this list.
So out of everything, how many are actually usable?
We have...
anti-tank and arc thrower, right?
Yeah, we have... The autocannon is usable against the bots. The EAT is always usable. The arc thrower is always usable. Everything else is debatable or just outright not usable. So 3 of these 7 options are okay.
And the thing is that you only even use the autocannon on bugs as well. So or bots
on
rather.
Bots,
so if you're playing bugs, you have 2 options, and that's good by comparison to the other.
One of them crashes your fucking game. So really, you don't even have this option right now.
Yeah. So you really have one option.
So let's look at the towers. All of this
Yeah.
is dog shit, with the exception of sometimes the mortar sentry is okay. Like in defense missions, it can rack up like 30, 40 kills. But other than that, all of this is dog shit. All of these die. Okay.
Yep.
No, Tesla Tower can't. If it gets hit once, done.
Incident. Yep.
It can kill a decent amount of trash mobs, but it can only kill trash mobs. The EMS, all the EMS stuff is bad. The machine gun sentry, downgrade to the Gatling sentry. The Gatling sentry, if it targets a fucking armored bug like a Bile Titan or a Charger, it's done. It's over. GG, bro. It will spend all of its ammo attacking it. The
We don't even talk about the fucking minefield. If you find pleasure in killing teammates more than killing your teammates,
more than killing bugs, yeah. The fucking mines blow up, instantly kill your teammates. They make a giant unwalkable area for your teammates, and even if you hit them on like a bug breach, it might get you like 15 kills at best. Same with the incendiary mines. Shield generator can kill Bile Titans if you fucking walk them into it and then have them like spew onto the shield. Really janky to set up.
But that's not an inherent strength of it. That's just a weird interaction, which will eventually.
I have never seen anyone use the MG in placement, so I don't even know if it's good or not. But because I've never seen anyone even experiment with it, I'm gonna go ahead and say this thing fucking sucks. The autocannon sentry.
Just use an autocannon.
Yeah. You'd think it would be good because this is good, but again, this is an autocannon that if it gets hit like once or twice, it just goes away. So like the bots are ranged. The bots will shoot these and kill them before they even set up and start shooting most of the time.
Yeah.
Same with the rocket sentry, you know?
Yeah, so let's the orbitals have a lot to go through as well.
Yeah,
so,
the orbitals are fucking awful.
Orbital persistent strike, awful. Airburst, awful. 120
all three of
millimeter, awful. 380, awful. Orbiting walking barrage, awful.
All
of that is...
Yeah, all of the barrages suck because you have no control over where they go. There's also a negative modifier that just flat out makes barrages, like, unusable.
They're spread way worse, yeah. Orbital laser has... Holy fuck, voice crack. Has its uses. It's
good at
usable.
destroying bot encampments. It can maybe kill a Bile Titan, but its cooldown is so fucking long it's practically unusable.
And sort of same thing with the rail cannon, except it can't even kill.
The rail cannon doesn't even kill fucking Bile Titans in one hit. You have to throw an impact grenade or hit them with an EAT afterwards. So it's like, okay, hope I brought one of those, you know? The Gatling barrage sucks.
All of the like gas and stuff like that is bad.
Yeah. These are, the smoke is supposed to lower enemy accuracy. Sure, it does that against the bots, and I guess like maybe it's, you know, but like.
And also, you have to think about the opportunity cost. So it's not just what you're taking and what that gives you, but it's what you're missing out by not picking something else, right? So it's not just what merits does this have, but it's also what are you giving up by not taking this?
Yeah,
and it's just
like,
too much.
Let's say you have to give up a fucking cluster bomb to use a smoke strike. And then it's like, okay, so this isn't viable, this isn't viable, this isn't viable, this isn't viable, maybe, and then a bunch of unviables. So you have like 8 options here, and then 2 of which you could even argue are maybe usable some of the times.
And now we get to the Eagles, which is actually the only stuff that's good.
Yeah. Strafing run, no one uses. This sucks. No. The normal airstrike is, like, not great, but it's not bad. The cluster bomb is the best fucking thing in the game. You get 5 of them. It averages, like, 20 kills. Yeah, it has, like, a fucking 30-meter radius in all directions. It insta-kills almost everything that isn't, like, a Charger or a Bile Titan or, like, a Hulk or a tank. And you get 5 of them, and they come back every 2 minutes. Bro, this shows you, this is what all of these should be like. Straight up. I'm going to say something a little crazy.
Oh boy.
I think the cooldowns on every single orbital and every single sentry should be halved. Straight up. Halve them. Make it so I can call down a rail cannon every fucking 120 seconds. Make it so I can use an orbital laser every like 160 seconds. Make it so I could call a 120 millimeter barrage in like every fucking 40 seconds. Because, you know, it is ridiculous that these things have like 4-minute cooldowns. When you
But do you know why? It's because that it's that artificial difficulty.
Well,
right?
yeah, and it's like, it's
the
not even
cooldown makes the difficulty, right?
Yeah, because you have to play around the cooldown. You're playing around the cooldown on the things that, you know, the few things you have that are,
stuff.
Yeah, that's actually able to, like, they say that guns are supposed to be bad in this game because you're supposed to use the stratagems to do most of the killing. But it's like, okay, then you put the stratagems on like a 5-minute cooldown, and it's like, what, am I supposed to have fun once every 5 fucking minutes?
Yeah.
You know, like, yeah, orbital laser feels great to use, but then, oh, there's a 50% cooldown modifier. Now it's on cooldown for like 10 minutes. So I got to use it once, maybe twice per run. Yep. Okay? That's not really, considering you might have to fight like 7 to 10 bug breaches in a run, you know, your one thing that counters big groups is like, okay, that needs to be way
so
more.
Even the stuff that's fun, like take the 500 kg bomb. I love the 500 kg bomb. It's so cool. It is not nearly as good as it really should be. It is supposed to be a 500 kilogram bomb. That is fucking huge, and it has the radius of like a pancake. It is.
We
so
were measuring
bad.
this in game. It has the radius of like 5 meters. Genuinely, for killing Bile Titans. It's like, dude, I stood within, marked it down, stood within 6 meters of the 500 kg. I did not take any damage. But at 5 meters, I instantly died. So it's like, okay, so this thing literally has like a damage radius of 5 meters. To try
and no fall off. It goes from 100% to 0, not 100% to 85 to 65.
Yeah, if you want
45,
evidence of this, throw a 500 kg right on top of a bug breach and watch as it gets like maybe 4 kills.
Yeah, it's absurd.
You know, but you feel like you have to use it because it's one of the few options you have to effectively deal with Bile Titans. Or like tanks or shit. So, anyway, the cluster bomb, super good. The napalm strike is good in defense missions, but outside of that, it's pretty terrible. Smoke strike is bad.
We don't talk about smoke.
The rocket pods don't one-shot a Bile Titan, so like, what the fuck do you want to do about that? You know, what, do I spend both of them back-to-back on the Bile Titan? Like, you have to line it up. Think about it like this, dude. The orbital rail cannon kills in the same number of hits as the rocket pods, but the rocket pods have to be manually aimed, timed, and you have a very small range to work with. It is like a fucking 5 meter range, like the 500 kg. It's basically a 500 kg that does less damage. That's basically exactly how it works. You know, and it's just like, then you have the 500 kg, and it's like, okay, you know, it's not bad, but it's not good. Seriously,
and this is gonna make some people mad, but do you want to talk about the mech?
Yeah, the mech fucking sucks. The mech has like 13 EATs built into it, but as soon as you spend those, the Gatling turret on it does not damage armor. So you can't use it versus Bile Titans or Chargers, and it's like, okay, everything else is just not a fucking threat. Or something else like the arc thrower deals with it more effectively.
But also, I mean, the fact that it has that many rockets is good. But the fact that its default cooldown is like
11
what, like 10,
minutes?
12
Yeah.
seconds?
No.
10, 12 minutes?
It's 600 seconds. That's 10 minutes. 10 minutes! You get 2 of them.
How many anti-tanks you get in that time? You probably get more anti-tanks
you get 20.
in 10 minutes. Yeah, than you have by default.
Yeah, you get 20.
By running the mech.
And the thing is, you can't aim the mech. You can't aim the mech, and you die. You instantly blow up in like 3 hits. The mech...
You're slow, you're squishy.
Dude, they could literally, I'm not joking, they could give 5 times health to the mech, they could double its rockets, triple the amount of ammo in the minigun, and I still wouldn't use it with that cooldown. Genuinely, I genuinely wouldn't. Because you could give it 40 rockets, you could give it 3,000 Gatling gun shots, and you could let it take 15 hits from hunters, and I would still say, you know, it's a tasty choice, but I don't know. I'm hit or miss on it. Yeah. So currently,
so if we tally everything up, okay, so we have the shield generator pack, that's 1. Let's say anti-tank is the only one, because we can't use the arc thrower right now in the current state, and autocan is very situational. So that's what, two things. You have shield gen pack, and you
Yeah.
have...
Let's tally everything
Okay.
that's like worth using. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe 7 and 8. So you have 8 options for stratagems. Maybe you
Out
could
of, like,
argue
how many are in here? Like,
yeah, like 40.
50?
Yeah. You could argue maybe there's an extra stratagem or two that can work under the right circumstances. But it's like, out of the like 50 stratagems in the game, only like 8 of them are really super viable, and like 12 of them are usable. So it's like, and then you get to use 4. So it's like you end up cycling between the same 1 or 2 comfortable loadouts every single fucking run, which just contributes to the sameness feeling. And
yeah, because there's no room to experiment, because the thing is that the things that are meta are so much, it's not just marginally, they are so much better that if you want to play on the highest difficulty, you don't have a choice. If like you can't, you're not experimenting. You can't be like, maybe I'll try out a machine gun this round. It is so much worse. And it's unusable.
There's a good reason for that, because here's the thing. I was just about to say, let's compare the machine gun to the arc thrower. The arc thrower can damage Bile Titans. It takes like 30 shots to kill them, so unless you're just finishing them off after like, a somewhat close range KG, or like a 500 KG, then it'll take them down. But like, it can kill a charger pretty quickly. It will kill packs of mobs very efficiently. So versus the machine gun, if your aim is good, is better at killing trash mobs than the arc thrower. But guess what? It can't hurt a charger unless you hit its weak spot. And it can't really kill a Bile Titan at all. So if you run a machine gun, you are literally shit out of luck for fighting Bile Titans and Chargers. You just have to hope your teammates kill all of them for you. Unless you run, and here's the thing. Let's say you run Rail Cannon, Strike, and Orbital Laser. The Rail Cannon so you could use the machine gun on the Bile Titan, and the Orbital Laser to kill another Bile Titan. So you kill one Bile Titan every 4 minutes, and you can maybe kill another one every like 2.5, every 3 minutes-ish. by spending like an entire fucking magazine of machine gun on it. Okay. Versus, the arc thrower, which deals with all chargers, deals with every trash mob, no ammo, and it can finish off weakened Bile Titans.
And there's something that really ties this all in together, where it's like, it all compounds into horrific sameness. Like, it's the bad balance. There's too many things that fill the exact same niche. And because of that, one of them is just going to be objectively better than the others. And the ones that do have their own niche and do something unique, like maybe some of the smoke stuff or the EMS, it is just, they're so afraid of making those things viable for whatever reason.
Dude, straight up, you can make something like the Orbital Gas Strike have like a fucking 20-second cooldown. Genuinely. This game should be like Darktide, where they don't nerf and they just buff a bunch of shit and they just keep raising the craziness. People, you cannot make the argument that, like, they have to nerf outliers like the arc thrower. No, this is one time where I will actually go to bat and say they should buff things to the level of the arc thrower. And if it makes the game too easy, raise the number of enemies. Who cares if I can call down a gas strike every 20 seconds and that gas strike kills like 30 things? Spawn 300 things every fucking 40 seconds then. How about that? Make it, because currently this game is not crazy enough for me to really think it's fun. It is rare for me to throw down a cluster bomb and get like 30 kills with it, because there's just not that many enemies, and there can't be that many enemies because you die in like 2 hits.
On
Helldive, the hardest
maximum difficulty.
With 4 players. Yeah,
with 4 players on the maximum difficulty.
And part of the unsatisfying feeling is like chargers, for example. Okay, let's say there's a bug breach and there's 15 hunters and 1 charger. Okay, I'm not afraid of anything but that fucking charger, dude, because I know I'm either going to have to hit a good EAT shot or like 3 shots of an EAT to its side or 1 good one to its head, or I'm going to have to arc throw it for like the next 20 seconds. Like, I know it is about to be a fucking Sisyphusian task. You must imagine Sisyphus happy, killing. Look, all I'm going to say is when I have to arc thrower down my 7th charger in a run, I'm like, one must imagine Sisyphus happy. Because, and it's like, oh my God.
The gameplay loops are really bad. So the enemies that are unique and aren't just carbon copies of each other and are completely interchangeable are not fun to fight. They are not interactive. They're not fun to fight.
Yeah,
They take
we'll move
ages.
on. We'll move on
Yeah.
to the enemies now.
Yeah. Enemy variety is
Non-existent.
severely lacking.
Non-fucking existent. Let's look at the bugs. Hold on. I have the wiki here still pulled up. Terminids. Okay, scavenger. Scavenger.
Okay, first off, this just
is
looks
pathetic.
pathetic. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, wait, hold on. Let me pull another tab up just real quick for the sake of the argument. Hold on. Theoretically, for the sake of the argument. What if we hypothetically, for the sake of the argument, looked at a list of enemies in a little game called Darktide?
Yeah, just cute little game.
Yeah. Okay, so let's look. This is Darktide. And let's see here. We've got this. And
not only is all of that, but all of those things need to be dealt with in unique ways.
Yeah,
All those
Darktide,
things have unique ways that you interact with these enemies.
dude, Darktide would have like 5 rows of these enemies, and they each have unique like roles that they fill that require a different approach. Whereas, let's look at this. Okay, Scavenger. There's 2 versions of the Scavenger: the ones that can shoot bile at you, and the ones that can't. The ones that can shoot bile at you, can slow you from range. This is a trash mob that can apply crowd control to the player from a range through
More
a shield.
difficulty.
Like,
Yeah.
what the fuck? Why?
Because they need to make the game harder, but they can't make it inherently more challenging. They need to add shit like that. So let's say, little scavenger guys, okay, occasionally they matter if you're getting swarmed and you can't just shoot them. Warriors are literally just filler mobs. They're literally they die in like 1 or 2 shots.
These are the lightly armored dudes that rush you. So here's the thing, right? Scavengers. You have the ones that shoot bile at you, and then you have the ones that don't, and they just run at you. So it's like, okay, so we've got an enemy that just runs at you and an enemy that shoots crowd control at you. Warriors just run straight at you, and they have very light armor that most every weapon can break and punch through. Hunters are one of the worst designed enemies in the entire fucking game, and oh my god, do I hate them so much. Like, oh my fucking god, Hunters. If you have the lightest armor in the game, currently that one cash shop set that has like 30 armor and like 550 speed, dude, they outrun you. They straight up outrun you because of their lunge. If they get within lunge range, which mind you is like 10 fucking meters, double that of the KG bomb, funny enough, they could lunge further than the 500 kilogram bomb has a damage radius around it. And if you're within that lunge range, they hit you guaranteed every time. And it's also random whether or not they hit you with their tongue attack, which slows you.
It slows you, yeah.
And
the CC is very, very, very poorly implemented.
Dude, it disables your sprint button and it slows your walking speed by like 30%. So you're walking like 70% slower than you run with stamina. And it's like, okay, so this one trash mob that you spawned 15 of nicked me one time, and I'm now walking 70% slower.
Yeah.
Now I just die. I just die almost every single time now. Okay, but still, this is still just an enemy that runs towards you, but now they have a long-distance lunge to close the gap, and they can apply a slow.
And now this was
Stalker.
just the same thing, but invisible.
Stalker is just an enemy that runs towards you and tries to melee you and goes invisible. By the way, their tongue attack deals more than half your health in one hit with light armor and ragdolls you, which can instantly kill you. So it's like, okay. And they have the same fucking long-range lunge as Hunters. You cannot outrun a Stalker, no matter what. If there is a Stalker running towards you, you have to deal with it and fight it. Just like a Hunter. You have to fight Hunters and you have to fight Stalkers.
This just contributes to the kind of shallow game loop. There's no way to meaningfully interact with these enemies. There's no way to hide from them. There's no way to run. The only thing you could do is just shoot them. And that's with every enemy.
He means hide once you've aggroed them. Because you can sort of like stealth around the Terminids, but well, even then, Stalkers like have this omniscient know of where you are at all times.
Oh yeah.
That's another thing. That's just how shallow these enemies are, by the way. they put a stalker nest next to an objective because they always put the spawning nest near objectives. And then from then on until you go close it, they just endlessly spawn at a high pace enemies that just bum rush you, and that's it.
And also, one thing that I think is that I really loved about Dark Tide, I think made a lot of things fair when they wouldn't have been otherwise, is sound cues. Sound cues. There is no sound cues for anything ever. For any enemy. There's nothing. If the stalkers made some kind of noise occasionally, but they're completely dead silent, you could be shooting a horde and all of a sudden you're just dead. And you're like, what the fuck just happened to me? Oh, a stalker killed me. That's not fun gameplay. There's no way you could have done anything different.
That's why you get so many respawns in this game, because so much of the things that actually kill you in this game are flat out bullshit.
Designed to be bullshit.
Let's say this game had 8 lives all the time. Each person in the team gets 2 lives. So when you're solo, you get 2 respawns. When you're with a buddy you're duoing, you have 4 respawns. This game would be miserable to fucking play.
Suck. Yeah.
Yeah. This game would be miserable to play because you are expected to die. You are expected to die to ridiculous things. You are expected to die to random unfair things. It is just expected to happen. And it's like, that is fun novelty for a little bit, but that gets really fucking annoying.
And same thing with Biospears. Biospears are really weird.
Yeah.
Because sometimes they will just one-shot you, and you're like, what the fuck? And sometimes it'll be like more of like, okay, it takes 25 and then 50, and it's like, it chunks you more. But sometimes they just one-shot you. Why?
Chargers, so this is another enemy that shoots you. Granted, this one can turn into a mortar. Chargers just literally run at you. Bile Titans walk forward and occasionally spew. Brood Commanders just charge you, exactly like Chargers. They literally do the same thing, where they, like, run faster than you and stuff. So it's like...
Shriekers just fly at you, and they just one-shot you.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5... 6, 7 of these enemies are just some variation of hold W plus M1 towards the player and make them faster than the player so they can't just ignore it. And it's like, wow, every enemy in this faction is basically the same fucking thing.
Yeah, like in Dark Tide, there are specific enemies that you need to headshot, or there's enemies that you prioritize first, or there's enemies that, you know, are kind of sneaky, and there's also enemies which I think, like Demon Host, where they're designed to be avoided, right? There's so much more variety, and it's not that hard. Like, the game, Darktide launched with all those enemies, right? And Darktide got ripped apart at launch. Yeah. But basically, the TLDR is that all of these enemies, there's only really one way to interact with them, right? And also, I do want to mention before we move on that the Charger can also just one-shot you whenever it feels good.
I hate Chargers, dude. Chargers, their turn radius is insane. You know why the Charger worked in Left 4 Dead? Because you knew if you could get out of its way, that it wasn't much of a threat. Yeah. But the Charger is like the second tankiest enemy in the entire fucking game. It can turn on a dime. Like, seriously, this thing's turn radius is ridiculous. It, like, sticks to you. It feels like it's, like, stuck on you. Like, you cannot get it off you. You can sprint directly into it a little bit to the left and get around it, but that's, like, your only option.
But, like, genuinely, which one of these enemies is fun to fight? Which one of these
they all have
unique and fun, right? Like, which one of these things makes you play in a different way than you would normally? Really? None of them.
And Shriekers. I want to mention Shriekers real quick. Shriekers, if their dead body touches you, you instantly die. It's stupid. It's bullshit. It should not be a thing. But hold on. Let's look at the automatons now. Okay. Trooper, just a guy with a gun. Commissar, guy with a gun.
Melee guy.
Yeah, he's melee guy with a gun, and he can spawn enemies. Scout Strider, this is a guy on a gun with a lot of frontal armor. Berserker, melee guy, number 2, big melee guy. This is big gunner.
Melee
this
guy,
is
but
big
with
melee.
more HP.
Yeah. This is just Commissar with more HP and deals more damage. This is just Trooper with more HP and deals more damage. Devastator is just a fucking. This is the guy that. Yeah, this is the guy that holds the shield. Hold on.
There can be a lot of different types of them. Like, they can have the rocket.
Yeah, there's rocket devastators, and then there's just devastators with, like, the shields. And it's like, okay, so it's like right here. Okay, then hold on. Hulk. This is just bigger devastator.
Yep.
with one weak spot. Tank is a tank. Tank is pretty unique. And the dropship, which brings all these guys in. Okay, so, like, Scout Strider, these guys are visually very different, but mechanically they're the same thing. Commissars and Berserkers, same exact enemy. Scout Strider and Trooper, same exact enemy. Devastator and Hulk, basically the same enemy.
Yeah, so the variation in these enemies is just whether or not they shoot or they run at you. But there's no gameplay differences between, like, a Hulk, like a flamethrower Hulk, just charges at you. Like a Berserker with chainsaws, it just charges at you, except one has more HP than the other one, right?
Well, that's
They
the
all
other thing
look
I want to
different,
mention.
But they all do... there's literally two niches that they fill. One that runs at you and tries to kill you in melee range, and one that shoots at you.
The only difference between these enemies is their armor class. These guys are light armor and can be killed by regular guns. These guys, unless you hit their weak spots, you need special, like, weapons to, like, explosive weapons to deal with them. These guys, you have to hit their weak points with special explosive weapons to really effectively deal with them. And it's like, how is that fun? Oh, if there's 5 Scout Striders and I don't have an autocannon, what do? I just fucking die because I don't have an explosive weapon that could just easily, quickly, rapidly dispatch these guys. Oh, if I don't have like an anti-material rifle or an autocannon and the Hulk doesn't turn around, I literally just can't deal with it. You would say spend a stratagem to deal with it, and I would agree that would be cool, but then 3 bot drops happen and there's 4 of these guys and you just have to hope your teammates do it as well. And that's assuming they even brought stuff like rail cannon strikes that can deal with these guys.
And this is another thing where it's, like, with meta, like, you're saying, oh, well, why don't you just use a stratagem? Okay, I am using a stratagem, but only
my teammates aren't.
I can use...
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's
the only good ones.
Yeah, and it's like, and my teammates aren't. If your team is not running at least competent loadouts, I'm not even saying full meta, just like competent loadouts where they're like, okay, these enemies spawn, these stratagems are good at dealing with them, I'm going to bring this. Okay.
You physically cannot complete the mission.
I mean, sometimes you can, but it's like, dude, like, if there's 4 Hulks that spawn, and everyone on my team knows to run Rail Cannon Strike for bots specifically, we immediately and instantly deal with the threat before they even do their spawn animation off the dropship. It is a literal non-threat. But if you're playing with, like, randoms, and they don't bring any stratagems that can deal with a Hulk, they just run you down and overrun you and kill you instantly because it's a fucking Hulk, and it only takes damage from behind. So it's like, okay... You know, and here's the thing. If people aren't smart enough to bring stratagems to counter these big problem enemies, they aren't smart enough to play around them to their weaknesses. And it's like, Helldivers either feels like it's impossibly difficult or ludicrously sleeper easy boring. Because people either understand the game, the mechanics, the weaknesses of the enemy, and they use that themselves to their advantage, and you just steamroll them. You either steamroll or get steamrolled. There's no in between, and that's because of how shallow the enemies are. Because
and that's an inherent flaw with the game, right? Like this, it's very hypocritical because people would be like, "Oh, well, if you're so bored of using the same stuff, then just don't run meta," right? But then if I'm like, "Okay, I'm trying to do this mission, and I literally can't do it without using these stratagems," they're like, "Oh, well, you're just stupid. Why don't you just use the stratagems and kill them?" Okay, well, I'll do that, but then I'm bored because that's the only thing that works.
Yeah,
so
it's like
circular logic.
And I just want to point this out. Yes, these enemies do have counters that aren't stratagems. Every counter is hit the glowing weak point on their back. If you're trying to do that by yourself, it is frustratingly difficult to consistently do it. And on Helldive, more often than not, you just get gunned down. It's like, oh, I have to maneuver and run around the enemies. Ironically enough, if you swapped the weaknesses of the Terminids and the Automods, they would be much more interesting. Terminids don't take any damage from the front, but have weak points in the back. And because they're just mostly melee enemies, you can actually like easily do that by covering each other. And the bots, like, you can kill a Hulk by shooting the same limb, even with a super heavy armor piercing weapon, by stripping the armor off. Ironically enough, if you swap their weak points, they would both be better factions. Because, like, the weak point is shit. Like, think about the giant cannon turret that the automaton guys have. It has like 200 meter, or it's like 150 meter range where it locks onto you. The moment it locks onto you, it will never unlock, so you never get to hit it. So you can't like run around it because you have to run literally 500 meters around in a giant circle. And it's like, there's either use a stratagem or just try to run away from it. That's it. Those are your only options.
There's no way to there's no way to. There's one way to deal with all of these enemies completely.
And that's what I'm saying.
No
like,
other way to play the game.
Just imagine if Pile Titans, instead of their front where they spew at you, they had like on their butt, they had a little, like the same size as their mouth is currently. They just had like a glowing flesh spot, like a fucking like a Dead Space necromorph, and that was completely unarmored. Railguns could kill it in like one hit if they're overcharged and fully clocked. EATs kill it in one hit. Like Primary Liberator, if you like dump 2 mags into it, kills it. Basically the exact thing that the Charger has going on. Put it on a Bile Titan, and for the Charger, make them die much quicker to it. Because, oh, and by the way, now that I'm thinking about it, isn't it weird that all of the bots have the exact same weak point of glowing thing on their back, and the Charger shares that same weakness? It's almost like they aren't talented developers and they can only design one fucking thing.
And to be honest, looking at this list is genuinely depressing. Like, even if all of these things had unique interactions and
there's still nothing.
All of them special, there is 7 enemies here, not including the dropship. So excluding the dropship, there are 7 different enemies here. And even if all of them were completely unique and they had different weak spots and you dealt with them in different ways and you have multiple different ways to deal with them, it's still not variety. It's still not enough. It's not even close. And the thing is that it's not enough if they all were super unique, but they're not.
Yeah, they're so not unique. Like I said, this guy basically a clone of this guy. You know, this guy basically a clone of this guy. You could argue these two are different enough. So straight up, if we're going to be generous, this faction has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 enemies in it, effectively. And yeah, you know, like, what the fuck? So you'll see a dropship drop like 15 of the same trooper that just tries to spam you out with bullets. And it's like, okay, well, that wasn't very fun or interesting.
Yeah, like, I don't feel like any of these enemies add something new, right? It's just like, okay, this is a bigger enemy and it has more health.
And more armor.
But it doesn't do anything that the weaker units do. It's just that they either do more damage or they have more health or both, right? But they're not unique.
And I really hate this armor system, by the way. Let's say I'm using a Liberator. I physically can't hurt a Hulk. Let's say I'm using a machine gun, a call-in weapon. I physically can't hurt a Hulk. Let's say I'm using an EAT. I instantly counter the Hulk and kill it before it has a chance to do anything. You either have the solution to the enemy and you instantly kill it, making it look like a joke, or you don't have the solution and you spend forever retreating for it, waiting for a stratagem to come online to deal with it.
And that's not fun gameplay. That's not even rock, paper, scissors. It's just the enemy throws out, like, paper every time, and you either want to throw scissors, or you're like,
hold on. Here's a better way. It is rock, paper, scissors, where the enemy always chooses rock, but you have a cooldown down on how many times you can use paper. You know, and it's like, okay. That really is just the perfect way to describe it.
Yeah. It's not interactive. It's so fighting these enemies is so repetitive, and it's not fun to fight them. There's one way to deal with everything, and that one way is the objectively correct way. There's no way to come up with a strategy. There's no like, oh shit, I'm running away, I'm retreating, I just dove off a cliff, I'm prone behind the cliff, heavy breathing. What am I going to do to stop this Hulk? Either your teammate's going to come around, take aggro off you, and you instantly kill it shooting its weak spot. You instantly kill it with a stratagem, or you just were smart and brought a proper support weapon beforehand to counter it, and you instantly kill it. Like, you never have... Either, okay, do I have my EAT? No. I run until I get it. I throw it down, and then I shoot it, and I kill it. Right.
Yeah, or it's like I have a rail cannon, or a precision strike, or something. And it's like... you spend so much of this game just running away because you are so fucking weak as an individual character.
And these two things combined, like the lack of enemy variety and the lack of kind of creativity allowed, and just it's very, very samey with all the enemies. That on top of the fact that there's only like really 5 things that you should ever really touch in this game. It's just like, okay, maybe if all of the stratagems were like somewhat viable and you could try new shit all the time, right, then maybe it wouldn't be as so repetitive. Or maybe it was the same way, okay, where there's some very hard meta things, but there was a huge enemy variety, right? But the thing is that it's shallow on every level of it. There is not a deep mechanic to save this game.
Yeah, and I think it was done that way for mass appeal, if I'm being honest.
Of course it was, and it works.
But that really shows in how there's no skill gap in the game. I want to talk about that now. Because it's like, this game has no player expression. It has no creativity. And you could not really tell the difference between a great godlike player and like a trash player. Give a trash player an arc thrower and a personal shield generator, and I guarantee you they top most lobbies, no matter what. Literally take a fucking difficulty 6 noob, give him an arc thrower, show them how to shoot it at the max fire rate, give them a shield generator and like a cluster bomb, tell them to throw the cluster bomb on a bug breach every time they show up, and then arc thrower down everything else. Guarantee you they end up as the star player in the lobby doing most of the work. Guarantee you. They could be 5 hours played noob and still come out on top.
Yeah, like for me, a lot of the times I come out with the most kills. I am not better than Tanner at this game. Okay, like I am not more skilled than him at all. It's completely dependent on, okay, do you get lucky? Do you just throw random stuff and you get more kills?
Did your cluster bomb land on the bug breach first?
We both throw cluster bomb on the bug breach. It's like, okay, who threw it like a millisecond earlier? It's like,
and then that one cluster bomb will clear everything but like the 1 or 2 super heavy units that you then clear with the EAT spam. And it's like, that is just the objectively correct solution to every problem. You can kill every bug breach literally seconds after they start. One carpet bomb run, and then like 4 EATs, and there you go. You cleared the bug breach. Now you don't have to worry about anything until the next like set of spawns in like 2 minutes.
But seriously, like, what difference does someone being insane, like, what does that even look like being good at Helldivers? You either know what's a good loadout and then just use it, or you don't. Like there's no amount of skill that can
because
change.
Everything is so one-dimensional. Enemies are faster than you, so you can't like become a movement tech god like in Darktide and get really good at outmaneuvering enemies. You can't really overpower large crowds very well, so like, throwing a stratagem is not a fucking skill. You said it before, the biggest skill gap in this game is how fast you can throw down stratagems. And it's just like, okay.
It's just, that's one of the biggest things for me personally that keeps me playing. It's not like content. It's like a way to improve where I know I could get better. I could do something faster. I could do something better, right? But like, if you fail a mission, like, can you really do a VOD review and be like, oh, I should have done this or this or this? It's just like, oh no, my teammates didn't run this, and we didn't have the tools to deal with this troop, right? Like, it's just that you didn't have the right tools at the right time. It had nothing to do with how you play at all.
By the way, can I just point something out real quick? These factions only have like 7 enemies total. How the fuck is this game 100 gigabytes, by the way?
Yeah, 100 gigabytes. The game is not like a Cyberpunk in terms of visual fidelity.
I don't think Cyberpunk is 100 gigabytes. I think Cyberpunk is like 67. Hold on. Cyberpunk. Oh my. Okay, Cyberpunk. There it is. How many gigabytes is Cyberpunk again? 70. Yeah. This game is 30% more to download than Cyberpunk. This game, Night City.
One of the most visually stunning games to come out
and it's a full open world, a fully developed interactive open world. Like, look at this. This is a huge map with some of the highest graphics ever, and it's like This game is still 30%. Oh, also, voice files. Some of the biggest, most heaviest files there are. Voice files. This game has literally, I think, 100 times more voice lines in it. That's probably not an exaggeration to say there's literally 100 times more audio work in this game. This game has like it has like 12 radio stations. So this game has like 5 times as much music, literally 100 times more voice lines, and all of that had to be localized to like 20 different languages. So
also, indie studio, by the way, CD Projekt Red, developer and the publisher.
So it's like to say Cyberpunk probably has at least 1,000. No, probably more. Cyberpunk, I'm going to say this, and it genuinely is not unreasonable. Cyberpunk probably has 10,000 times more audio weight to it than this game does, in just pure amount of audio files required. And those are like some of the biggest, heaviest files in game development. The 2 heaviest files are going to be audio stuff, and it's going to be fucking textures. So it's like, dude, there are textures, models, audio. That's the big one. Those are the big stuff. So it's like Cyberpunk definitely has way more models than that game. Cyberpunk has literally 10,000 times more voice lines, everything, when you consider localization. And it's like, yeah, exactly. What are you doing?
But none of this becomes surprising when you actually dig into the developers. Yeah,
this is something that I wanted to make a point of. The developers of this game, Helldivers, they're not just annoying people, they're also just shitbags. They literally talk like Redditors. If you point out a flaw to the game, their response is going to be like, well, skill issue. And it's like, dude, I don't even want to hear that from you, okay? I know, like, I have gotten very close to doing solo, Helldive, no death, 30 hours into the gameplay of experience. Within 30 hours, I can do like 0.1% level of skill stuff. So I know it's not a skill issue on my part when I go like, it's bullshit that shriekers kill you when they fall down. Because it's like, that just annoys me even if it's not happening to me. It's like, wow, that's something I have to constantly worry about and constantly think about, and it shouldn't even be in the game at all.
And the thing is that it's so funny saying skill issue because there is no, like, skill in avoiding that. Like, there is no skill involved. Like, Sega's skill issue implies that you could have done something to have that not happen. The
only thing you can do is dive out of the way. And it's like, that's literally hitting one button. So you either hit the one button and you had enough distance to do it. Some people will say, well, judging the distance, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, okay, but sometimes they don't kill you at all. So like, is it supposed to be a threat? Is it supposed to not be a threat? If it is supposed to be a threat, are you saying I'm not supposed to kill these enemies at all at close range? What about shotguns then? So are shotguns just not supposed to be good against them? Okay, does that mean shotguns aren't supposed to be a viable option as a primary? Because your primary is supposed to be a primary. It's supposed to be usable against all this stuff. And it's like, okay.
Yeah, the devs are... I think a lot of things start to make more sense when you realize...
They're fucking amateurs. They're unprofessional amateurs. Yeah. No. Like, remember the Discord incident? They added everyone and were like, press F to pay respects. Then when people started pressing F, they were like, I'm going to ban you if you press F. And it's like, oh my god, you're literally a fucking chud. Hold on. I actually need a fucking soyak for this. Fucking, hold on. Fat Chud Soyak. This is literally the developers. This is literally the developers of Helldivers. This is literally how they act. They are a living embodiment of this guy. They are literally this guy. They think they're cool and quirky. Oh no. They have this body, but this face. This is, oh my god. This is literally how I imagine the Helldivers devs on Twitter's look when they're like, actually, it's a skill issue.
Maybe you should just get better at the video game.
Yeah,
Maybe then the smoke bombs would be so trash if you were just better.
Like, this is literally what I imagine the Twitter, like the PR people for this game look like. You know, because it's like the way they fucking talk to the community at large is just gross.
It's even like, against genuine, like, valid criticism too. Like, it's just...
I cannot believe I'm saying this, but the Helldivers devs talk like Trump. They genuinely use the exact same speaking strategies as Donald Trump.
You're gay.
Yeah, no. Seriously. Hillary, like, if you remember those debates, Hillary would be like, blah, 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 blah. Trump would be like, wrong.
You're ugly.
Yeah, no, seriously. The Helldivers devs literally talk like Trump.
Ugly as a dog.
Someone will be like, hey, I think it's really unfair how a charger can not even be attacking you and it can just bump into you and instantly kill you sometimes. And it's like, they'll be like, skill issue. And it's like, how is that any different from Trump just dismissing everyone's argument by going like, wrong? You know,
Wrong.
It's like you are literally doing the same thing. Like, it's memetics. It's memetic politics. It's such a reductive way to think.
And we wouldn't even be having this conversation if it weren't for the fact that everyone is dick riding this game.
Yes, super hard.
Oh, hard.
Yeah, no, hold on. Let me go on YouTube and look, watch this. Hold on. Helldivers 2. Watch. Where is it? I'm sure, because you got a million people like this. I'm sure if I just look and scroll through, I'll get
There's not a single video criticizing this game on the first page of YouTube.
Hold on. Helldivers 2 is bad. Terrible, according to these 1-star reviews. Making fun of people who don't like the game.
Yeah, for
patch reading.
Valid reasons.
Okay, what is this? I'm going to click on this for 2 seconds.
Okay.
My friends and I have... The submachine gun lets you run from enemies while firing one-handed, making...
So what is this, a negative review or just... What is this?
Has committed the biggest sin in gaming history.
Oh no, what is this?
They stole... I can't even say this. They stole the main theme from Spider-Man.
So this seems like an ironic video.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, even if you try to look for like negative opinions on the game, at best you're going to get wait, where is it? Where's the smug? Hold on. Smug Soyak, where is it? Oh, this guy guy shows his head again. Like, this is how I imagine that guy looks recording that video. Because it's like, oh, you don't like the popular game?
This game should not be, and it's not just being contrarian. Like, these things are like me and Tanner would love to have this game be super amazing at a deep end game and something we could just fucking grind out for 1 billion hours, right? Like, I have no desire to shit on this game, like, inherently, right?
It's just,
like,
but it's just like the more I look through these videos and stuff, like, it is genuinely, I cannot believe I'm going to say this, but this will probably be one of the few videos talking about Helldivers that just straight up just rips into it and is like, there is very little good about this game. Because, like,
I mean, and the thing is that it's a shame because there is something there. There's something going on where it could possibly maybe be fun, like, in the long term, at some point, if they did certain things. Like, it's not like this game is completely awful, like,
what the fuck?
but it's just, its flaws are so big. The fuck is this, bro?
Yeah, I filtered it to today, and, like, look at this.
Also, another thing that I completely forgot about, and I'm not going to harp on this too much because the in-game currency is earnable, and it's not. Shut up. You get 10 of it out of those fucking drop pods, and it's like the rarest thing to get out of them. Fucking, you have to buy the in-game currency. And yeah, that's another thing, by the way. Rotating shop much? Rotating shop with armor that has stats on it as well.
Yeah, literal pay-to-win rotating shop. Like, one of the biggest fucking complaints in COD. Hold on, let me go back on here. Dragon's Dogma 2. I am willing to bet people complain about pay-to-win microtransactions in this game. Dude, there was before... Okay, how about this? Arc Thrower. Everyone knows the Arc Thrower is, like, overpowered. Okay, so you need to use Arc Resistance armor and just have everybody run the Arc Thrower. That's, like, the best way to play the game. Well, light armor, everybody knows that light armor is the best armor in the game.
Yep.
Before the newest battle pass, the like electric one came out, the only way to get electric resistance light armor was through the cash shop. No one, and I mean no one in their right mind, has ever, even in a review, like a negative Steam review, unless it's like there's probably like at least one really obscure one, but like nobody is willing to say Helldivers 2 is pay to win. But like, let's go on Dragon's Dogma 2. Let's see. I guarantee you.
No, wait, go back up.
Where?
It's right there. Capcom bad microtransaction company.
Pay to win. Okay. Pay. Hold on. Is one of these going to be it?
Search
none of it's pay to win. Okay, dude. Paying for fast travel, paying for a currency that can directly go into upgrades. Yeah. Okay. I guarantee you. I want
you
to
could purchase a good review DLC for $1.99.
See, there's people complaining about, but okay, wait, hold on. I know an easier way to do this. Hold on. Dragon's Dogma 2 pay to win. Okay, we've got some people talking about it. And it's like, people, like right here, there are people saying, like, Dragon's Dogma 2, pay to win, blah, blah, blah. Helldivers 2, pay to win. What do people have to say about this? Wow, we get by the way, you have to pay money to get this on Google. So this means that Sony or IGN or whoever, someone paid money to have it be, I'm going to honestly say, I bet Sony paid for this. Sony paid for IGN to, get this spot on Google.
That highlighted little line, Helldivers 2 is not paid to win. So whoever looks at it, they look at that and they're like, boom.
How is this game not pay to win? Okay. Let's see. Paying money unlocks the grinded. You cannot pay real money to skip said grind. Okay, do you know how long it would take to get 1,000 super credits through playing the game? You can get 10 at most on a rare spawn. I have played this game for 30 fucking hours on the max difficulty. I have gotten 60 super credits. You need 1,000 to buy a battle pass. Hold on.
And also saying that paying unlocks the ability to grind. Oh.
Hold on.
I love that, bro.
You know what this reminds me of? The Helldivers being pay to win. This one very specific part of a Seth Zintatch review.
By the way, if you don't know who this is, please look
where he talks about where is it? I hope he didn't take the video now. Not War Thunder. Where he talks about it's not the World of Tanks, it's the one German game. Fuck, hold on. Let me find this. Because I want to showcase this. Because like it is absurd. It's like I love corporations. I love simping for the corporation. He was talking about how Hearts of Iron, that was the name of the game.
Wow, you don't know Hearts of Iron? You're supposed to be...
Or no, Company of Heroes 2. Here it
fanboy.
is. Look at this. Look. Where is it? It's like right around here where he talks about the like cash shop. And it's this is exactly how I feel about saying Helldivers 2 is not pay to win. Where is it? Is it right around here?
Very quick to point this out. You could also earn in-game currency.
Yeah, right here.
Surely that's not too bad, right?
Right here. This literally applies to Helldivers 2.
Hey, for a split second and see your whole copy of the base game allows you to play only 2 of the 5 possible factions.
Mind you, they're going to constantly be adding battle passes. So paying for the base game allows you it allows you the privilege to grind however many of the fucking battle passes they're going to let you grind.
That's right. You only get to play Wehrmacht and the Soviets. The rest is DLC. Surely that's not too bad, right? I mean, it's the least they can ask of us to buy the base game for $20,
$30,
and then buy the other 3 races for $40.
$20 per, or I'm sorry, $10 per battle pass, and mind you, they plan on adding a lot of them. They've already added like
there's
2.
Already 3.
Yeah, there's already 2 that you have to buy within a month of the game coming out.
But wait, it gets better. Most of the game features are locked behind faction commanders, which can be
AKA
perks on unique pieces of armor that you can only get through the cash shop.
purchased with money. For reference, an entire faction is the same cost as 4 commanders. However, and people are very quick to point this out, you could also earn them with in-game currency, using the greatest loot box ever made. I've played over 100 hours. Do you know the number of times I dropped currency free? Do you know how many more I need to earn a commander? 27. I love simping for corporations. I love cash shops. I love that yummy high fructose corn syrup. I love the United Nations.
This is literally you. When you say this game is not pay to win, this is literally fucking you. Because, yeah, you get 10 super credits per pickup. You're not even guaranteed to get a pick. It is literally like a 1 in 5 chance to get super credits in the event. It's like a 1 in 5 chance to get the event on the map. It's like a 1 in 5 chance to get the super credits if you do get the event, assuming you find it if you do get it. And
also assuming that you're looking around on
and
the
if you and even if you go through all of that shit, you only get 10 super credits. You need 1,000. It's like I pick up, I spend 20 minutes per game and I look for it and I find it. Let's say I find it every fucking time, So it's like I spend 20 minutes a match and I get 10 super credits. I have to play 300 hours to buy 1 battle pass. It's like, what the fuck? That is absolutely...
I don't understand why this game is the exception to people's criticism about this, right? Now, obviously, there's people bringing it up, but the gaming community is not afraid to get into an absolute feverish uproar about stuff like this. So why not? Why is Helldivers... It does all of the same exact scummy shit that AAA devs do. Literally the exact same shit.
Yeah, rotating cash shop, pay-to-win items, pay-to-win, borderline pay-to-win progression.
Hold on. Remember when they introduced the cash shop in Darktide, which is purely cosmetic?
No, but you know what it is? I think gamers love pay-to-win. I plan on making a video talking about this as its whole fiasco. Like, I want to mention, people have no right to complain about Dragon's Dogma. Literally... 3 days after this game came out, they added these tickets. This completely
$120 worth.
Yeah, these tickets, they completely skip the progression of the game. You literally don't have to interact with the merchant. You don't have to interact with the treasure system. Nothing. You can just load the game up and start at max power because of this. They added it literally a few days after.
And scroll up.
And you know what? Let's click on this. Very fucking positive, almost overwhelmingly positive. Gamers love pay to win. I guarantee you, if Helldivers came out tomorrow with something you could buy for 2,000 super credits that just straight up doubled your damage, people would be fucking cheering it on. They'd be like, woo! They'd be like, woo! Amazing, awesome. They'd fucking eat it up.
Yeah, I think it's just hypocritical to not come after this game when, be consistent, right? If you consistently believe that this is a bad thing in gaming, people say, vote with your wallet, right? Vote with your wallet, vote with your wallet. Don't buy games that have predatory practices like that, right? Until it's like a game that your friends are playing, right?
Yeah, it's because gamers are fucking addicted. Gamers are legitimately addicted. They can't not play the new shiny thing that everyone else is doing.
But yeah, I mean, if you really believe in the whole vote with your wallet kind of thing, then Helldivers should be the last thing you're buying. As a rotating cash shop with stuff in it that gives you real, tangible stats and buffs. And also it has microtransactions in a $40 game as well. This isn't a free-to-play game.
It's like something that bothers me. The final thing I think we're going to talk about. I hate the discourse around this game. Let me look this up. Helldivers 2 is how games should be. This is the most annoying sentiment. Like right here, the success of Helldivers 2 shows just how bad the games industry is from. I would agree, but not for the same reason. The fact that a game this shitty, shallow, and repetitive can be this, lauded as such a great thing. If this game released exactly as is, literally exactly as is, rotating cash shop and everything, in the Xbox 360 era, this game wouldn't stand a fucking chance. This game would not stand a fucking chance. It would get buried. But it is because so many shit tier games come out. Like, hold on. Games of 2024. 2024 in video games. Let's look. Final Fantasy Remake, okay? I don't even know what the fuck this is. Dragon's Dogma 2. Remaster. Wait, The Last of Us Part... This game...
Remastering a game that came out, like...
3 years ago.
3...
Yeah, because this came out late 2020.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it says 4, but it's closer to like 3 years it's been. What the fuck? Tekken 8, sequel of a long-standing franchise. You know, it's just like... What the fuck?
Yeah. And
like,
I also feel like people are also saying that, you know, we need to send a message to developers and publishers about what we really want. And you're doing that, but it's not good, right? Like, with the success of Helldivers, it is reinforcing the fact that all these publishers and developers are saying, as long as we hit the right spot and we get a loyal player base, we can fucking whip and beat the fuck. We can mistreat our player base as much as we fucking feel like it, and it just doesn't matter.
I just want to put this out right here. You can take that lump of coal out of your ass. It's probably a diamond by now. Look at this. People will complain night and day about Dragon's Dogma 2 pay to win. They will complain about this shit all the time. You know, and it's just like they will complain about pay to win in this game. Meanwhile, Helldivers has legitimately more pay to win. Like, the pay to win in fucking Dragon's Dogma is basically non-existent. Like, what you're actually paying for is basically garbage. However, this game, legitimate rotating cash shop with some of the best armor in the game is in it. No one complains about it. In fact, if you complain about it, you will have a million fucking these guys come at you, tell you how wrong you are. And it's like, literally, the double standard is fucking crazy. The double standard is crazy. Dude, people complain about pay to win in Darktide. Hold on. Pay to win revolver. Because of that one fucking Cadia revolver skin that, I don't know if I'll find it, but fucking... There was that one, you know, the new revolver skin for the Cadia set that has like cleaner iron sights. People were unironically complaining that it was a little pay to win because it gave you a better sight on your gun and you had to pay for it. This game straight up has the best armor in the game that you currently cannot get any copies of without paying for it in a rotating cash shop. And people will clown on you if you dare to mention this as a problem.
Yeah. And all of those things, like, it's bad enough if a game has one of these things, like, really.
Oh, hold on. Wait, real quick. I need to point out. We got one. With
this, and people are very quick to point this out. You could also earn them with in-game currency, using the greatest loot box ever made. I've played over 100 hours. Do you know the number of times I dropped currency? 3. Do you know how many more I need to earn a commander? 27. I love...
Yeah, like literally. This is what I mean. We got one. Hold on. I'm very curious. Do you think this person still browses this subreddit? Ah, they do. Oh my god. What is this? Holy fuck. No skill neckbeards got you. Oh, okay.
Dude, all of his posts have like so many downvotes.
How the fuck? Dude, look, yeah, he dared to speak out against them. He was one of them. He got off the circle jerk for 1 second and said something unpopular, and look at the viciousness. What is this even about? It's like, okay, so wait, you could either... It's funny, this guy will give you shit for caring about the pay-to-win side of the game or, like, taking the game seriously and using meta. But what he cares about, what he complains about, people cheating stratagem hero leaderboards. That's what's got him worked out. That's like, okay, dude.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean... Like I said before, it's one thing for a game to have predatory monsters. It's one thing for a game to be a little repetitive. It's one thing for a game to have bad balancing, right? But for all of them, it really kind of blows my mind. Like, how is this game standing? Like, what is the double standards are so absurd, and I'm really trying hard to not sound contrarian, but this is one of the very few things where I'm having a hard time seeing the redeeming qualities.
Yeah,
like,
no, I think when you
see.
really lay it all out logically, I genuinely think this game is like 3 out of 10 at best. And it's like, but it's because of memes. Genuinely, this game is like the definition of meme culture. Everything
Democracy.
is yeah, liberty. You know, everything.
Liberty.
Everything is a fucking
liberty.
Everything is spoken like political meme slogans. This game is like designed to be trendy and viral, and that's it.
Yeah, I mean, I think this game is played best when you're able to ignore how bad the game is.
Hot prediction.
When you're on a low difficulty and you're playing with your friends and you're really not paying attention and you're just doing something to pass the time.
Hot prediction. I got a hot prediction here. In 1 to 2 years, this game will be mostly dead. Probably forgotten and abandoned, unless it gets some major reworks. That's going to be my hot take. The moment the next big, like, Among Us style game happens that takes the place of the funny spam meme game. I know this game seems like an invincible juggernaut right now, but just wait. Wait until the next haha funny meme game comes out, and I guarantee you this game loses like 70% of its player base.
And they're not coming back.
Yeah, exactly, because people who follow trends... Look, hey, all I'm going to say is this right here. I'm just going to use a very, very apt comparison. Helldivers is a lot like Among Us.
Among.
And look at how it's doing right now.
This chart is crazy. Yeah. Go to the all-time too. I want to see the dip.
430,000. Down to 8,000.
To be honest, 8,000 is still kind of crazy. I did not think there were still people playing Among Us.
So let's look at Helldivers. Right now, we're at that peak. We're at that peak where it's like a major cultural juggernaut, but look at how fucking hard Among Us fell off. And mind you, Among Us is even easier to get into and play than this. This requires a lot more of an investment to play. Yeah. But here's the game I'd like to compare it to.
Among Us is like $5 compared to 40 on this.
People talk about how dead Darktide is. Hold on. Darktide, you know, they talk about how it fell off, how dead it is, blah, 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 blah. But all I'm going to say is this. There was a time when the Tide series fell on some real hard times, and we had less than 2,000. Oh my fucking God. This literally more of the screen is an ad. What the fuck? Anyway, there was a time when us Tide players had to endure sub 1,000 people average players. Like right now, literally right now. But you know what? It always bounces back. Because people who play Tide games, they're not there for the short term. They generally stick around for the long term.
And I just really don't know what Helldivers does that will stick for people, right? Like, what does it do that can bring someone back?
This is fucking absurd. This is actually insane. I wonder how much they got paid for this. But
minus 44%.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, look at this, dude. It always, look, it always comes back. Tide games have always come back, no matter what, because the people who are into them, because it's a relatively niche thing, are very into them, and they're always looking for a reason to return. Whereas
there's nothing in Helldivers that you can't get in some other game in some other fashion, right? Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. What's the...
Huh? Is this the ad? No, wait. This...
It's like an in-bed.
I fucking hate fandom so fucking much. I'm going to bomb the fandom headquarters.
I mean, we've kind of done a lot of talking, but I think you could really boil it down to these devs do not deserve the praise that they're getting, and they have put out a game that's purely driven by social media trends, and it really has no long-term backing in any of its gameplay loops, in any of its gameplay systems, in any of its progression, in anything.
Yeah.
It has nothing to stand on other than social.
I think that covers just about everything.
Yeah, and we got really into the minutia of why exactly we think this has no leg
Would
to
you,
stand on.
real quick, would you like to take a guess at how long this recording is?
I'm gonna guess like an hour and a half.
Hour 44 minutes.
That is crazy. What are you even gonna do with that? Are you just gonna upload the whole fucking thing?
Hell yeah, my nigga.